I have not had a cystic acne around my chin for the past 2 to 3 months, and it feels amazing. I can't remember the last time I've ever felt this way about my skin. From battling cystic acne for years and to finally finding a solution that works, this is my honest, unfiltered journey to healing my skin. If you've ever struggled with breakouts, scarring, or just finding the right routine, then stick around because I have some game-changing tips for you. But before we get started, if you are into beauty, lifestyle, and glowing up with a feminine mindset, hit that subscribe button to join the journey with me. So my acne journey started when I was about 12. It started out at my forehead and they were just normal pimple, and then it slowly traveled down to my T-zones, my nose, and my chins, where they turned into these horrible cystic acne. And I didn't really know what to do about that. And at that time, my mother was also going through her own perimenopausal phase where she was having breakouts, so she was also having cystic acne on her chin, and she would use hot towels to put on those pimples, and she would pop them with a needle, and I would follow in her footsteps to do that. And also, I didn't have the best skincare influences growing up, so I grew up where people would tell me, just don't use a face wash, wash your face with water. And I lived in Singapore, so it was really humid. My skin was always oily and water was just not enough to get rid of the sebum on my face. So with all the terrible skin habits that I had, I developed really bad pimples that just would never go away, and that eventually led to really bad scarring from me just poking and probing those pimples. By my early 20s, the pimples have migrated to my cheeks area, and sometimes the pimples on my cheeks would die down. Sometimes there would be a lot of them, but the ones that were on my chin would pretty much never go away. I would get a new pimple on my chin and they would be the really big cystic ones about 3 to 4 times a month. And then back in 2019, I made a video about how I actually healed my acne. I didn't know it at the time, but it was actually because I started taking birth control. My whole life, I didn't take birth control until 2019. I took it for a couple of months, and that really helped with the acne around my chin area because I did not know that it was caused by hormones, and the birth control helped to regulate my hormones, so it really helped to regulate the breakouts. I was also using Curology back then, so I thought it was just because I switched my skincare over to Curology, and that was why my skin was behaving a lot better. But again, it wasn't like my acne completely disappeared. I just would have fewer cystic pimples, so I would still have maybe 2 or 3 really big pimples maybe once or twice a month, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad as how it used to be. Because before I started birth control, it has gotten to the point where I would get so many pimples just clustered together that it would be so hard for me to even speak because moving my mouth would just cause so much discomfort and pain around my chin area. So compared to that, the birth control and Curology was a big improvement for me. But of course, I had to stop my birth control once I got pregnant the first time in 2020, and so the pimples all came back, and this time it was a lot worse than ever. And because it was the birth control that was helping me reduce the pimples, I thought there was nothing I could do, so I just basically lived with it. And it got to the point where nothing was helping my pimples. No skincare, no hacks, no anything was helping to get those pimples get better. So 2023, my friend told me to try out Spironolactone because it's known to help with cystic pimples. So I found Apostrophe that could give you the prescription to get Spironolactone, and they also give you the topical treatments for the skin concerns as well. So I basically sent them a photo of my skin and what my skin concerns were and what kind of improvements I wanted to see. And so they did prescribe me with Spironolactone that you take orally as well as the topical cream. And now the problem with that is that I live a pretty holistic lifestyle, so I'm not too keen on taking too many medication. And spironolactone was affecting my potassium levels to the point where every night I would wake up with really bad leg cramps, and I didn't necessarily want to up my intake of salt either to balance out those potassium. So that was one issue I was facing. And then the other issue was that the topical cream was just way too strong for me. Even when I use a tiny little dot to spot treat the pimples that were coming out, it would dry out the whole area around my face, and the dry patches were making my skin look way worse than it should have been. And so I didn't really even use use the topical treatment that much. Like I would use it when I have a really severe cystic pimple, and if it's just like a normal size pimple, I would just let it be. I also use a lot of pimple patches. I will say though, my favorite is the ones from Cosrx because they are really thin. I feel like they really help to reduce the gunk and just stops me from touching my face and my pimple the whole time. However, I feel that because I do wear makeup for work every day, I feel that those pimple patches really just take up too much gunk. So halfway through, if you don't change it regularly, it just looks really crusty and disgusting. So it's not something that I feel very confident and comfortable wearing out in public for a long time. And then in 2024, I got pregnant again. So I had to stop my spironolactone because that's not pregnancy safe. And of course, my pimples came back full force. I was so stressed out because I was like, oh, just when I thought I found a good control and solution to tame my pimples, it just keeps coming back. And I decided that there has to be a different approach to dealing with cystic pimples. It just can't be that I'm pregnant and I would just have pimples for the rest of my life. So that's when I found Your. And this is a pregnancy safe skincare brand. I haven't really heard anyone else talk about this, but basically they ask for your skin concerns and they send you 3 products that you would use to help with those concerns. It's similar to Curology, but they have pregnancy safe alternatives for your skin. So for me, they gave me a cleanser, a serum to use at night, as well as a moisturizer. And they said that those were the 3 things, just the only 3 things that I needed to keep my skin clear. So once again, I went back from using different types of products to just using those 3 products every single day. And the issue was that I love using skincare, and forcing myself to only use 3 products just so miserable for me. Like I just wasn't enjoying the experience. Slowly I started wanting to try more things. So Your did help with the pimples that I was getting. Like I wasn't getting 2 to 3 new pimples every morning anymore. I was maybe getting 1 a week or 1 or 2 a week, where it's like the big cystic pimples, which again is an improvement for me. And another thing was that Your was pretty pricey. So they charge you for the quarter. So they charge you for 3 months because that's how long the items would last you for. And it's $201 and they charge you $67 every single month, which I think for what you're getting is just a little too pricey. That's like the luxury level of a skincare product range. And I can't say that the product you're getting is entirely luxury. So I just wanted to pop in and say that it came with 4 products, and the box that you're seeing is the second order that I got from Your. And also I believe it's $69 per month if you wanted to go monthly, but if you pay quarterly it's $180. So it is cheaper to do the quarterly payment. The moisturizer also comes with SPF 30. And I am not saying in the video that these are bad products or that I wouldn't recommend them. They just didn't work for me because I love trying new products, and just rotating through 4 things every single day just is not for me. But if you're looking for something really simple that is really good for your skin, is not harsh on your skin at all, or if you're pregnant, I would recommend testing Your out, because I felt like it really did make a big change for me, and my skin did get a lot better because I started out with Your instead of doing what I'm going to share next. So I decided to move on, and this is what I am doing right now. I feel that my skin has never been in a better state than it is right now, and I'm just going to share with you guys what I'm doing. So one thing that I decided to implement and try again is skin cycling. When I was younger, I would use the Korean skincare routine, the 10 steps, but that was way too much for my skin on like a daily basis. So skin cycling is a different way to break that up. So basically I cycle between 4 different days. So first I would start with exfoliation day, and on this day I would use a very gentle chemical exfoliator. Right now I really love using this mandelic acid exfoliator, and I just put this on a cotton pad, and I especially go around the T-zone area and this areas of my chin because that's usually where I get congested as well as where my breakouts would happen. I think this area is because sometimes, like especially nowadays with my pregnancy progressing, I like to put my hand under cover my face to sleep, and sometimes I break out over here because of that, so I'm a little more aware of not doing that. But if I'm not using the mandelic acid, I am using a clay mask of some sort to put it on my face and then wash it off. So that is the exfoliation day, and then I would go in with a very gentle moisturizer. And I make sure to avoid AHAs because I am pregnant and AHAs are not pregnancy safe. And then for day 2, I would use a retinol alternative treatment like bakuchiol or any other treatments that I find that works for me. Right now, I did run out of my retinol alternative treatments and I'm on a no-buy month, so I haven't restocked it yet. So in the meantime, I do have different sheet masks that I would use on treatment days, and that would replace the treatment serum step that I would use. And this way I can also cater to what my skin is needing. So after the exfoliation day, if I still feel like my skin feels a little congested, then I might go in with a centella or a tea tree kind of sheet mask, and that will help with the problem that I'm having. And then day 3 is recovery. So right now I use the Medicube Salmon PDRN as well as the Salmon Moisturizer for this first recovery day. And then for my second recovery day, I play this by ear. So if I feel that my skin still needs a little bit of hydration, I will go in with a niacinamide serum as well as a little heavier weight moisturizer. But if I feel that my skin starts to already feel oily and congested, depending on the weather as well as what I've been eating for the whole week, I would restart over with the exfoliation day. So I feel that cycling my skin like this has really helped with the improvements in my skin. It just feels like it's glowing, even though I still get breakouts, I still get hyperpigmentation, because those are things that I can't really avoid during pregnancy. It has improved so much for me. I have not had a cystic acne around my chin for the past 2 to 3 months, and it feels amazing. I can't remember the last time I've ever felt this way about my skin. And I'm gonna insert a little clip of how my skin looked like this morning so that you guys can see how it looks without makeup on. Good morning. I just woke up and I have nothing on my face. I just wanted to show you guys how my skin is looking like. And so this is what we're working with. This was the latest breakout that I had. It was cystic, but it never really came to head. It was just really red and sore and painful for a while, and then it just kind of went down. So now it doesn't feel like anything, and it's not like a bump or anything, but if you touch it, you can feel that there was something like underneath. And usually for these kind of, I guess, pimples that I have, it does stay a while. Like this mark is gonna stay for, I would say, a month or 2. And these are marks that were similar to this one, and they were all like old pimples. And then I have one here that just refuses to go away. I think this one's been here for like a good month or 2 as well. It just like keeps turning red, but it never really becomes a pimple or it doesn't hurt or anything. It just is red and like there's hyperpigmentation. And then this is a sunspot that I believe I got after my first pregnancy, because it just appeared all of a sudden out of the blue, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a sunspot. So yeah, this is him. It's a, I guess, a scar. And then you can see that on my cheeks there's a lot of acne scarring, which I've done microblading for. Not microblading. I've done microneedling for, and it has absolutely done nothing. My nose is pretty much clear, and usually I will wake up here with like really red and like flared up breakouts, but it's pretty good today. I think it's pretty good today. And then my chin, I did wake up this morning with like a tiny little pimple here, but it's free from anything cystic. These are just like old acne scars or like old pimple marks. But yeah, this is what my skin's looking like today, which I think is pretty good. Like, I would give this, throughout my whole life, this so far is going to be like a 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 on a scale of like good skin days. So other than skin cycling, I have also picked up using disposable face towels, and you can get them on Amazon really easily. And I was a little hesitant about it at first because it's not the most environmentally friendly, I feel, to throw a towel away every single time you use it. However, I have tried washing my face towels every time I use it, and sometimes I would forget, sometimes I would wash it, but then it still wouldn't make too much of a difference on how my skin was feeling. And I noticed noticed that once I switched over to disposable towels, it did help me a lot in the improvement of my skin. I also feel really confident in knowing that the towel that I'm using is completely clean because I have not used it before. Sometimes I will try to be nicer to the environment a little bit, and I would use a towel to just pat my face dry in the morning and then save that towel for later and then use it again at night before I toss it away. So at least I get 2 uses out of it instead of just 1. Another habit that I have picked up is going to bed in some kind of a heatless hairstyle and wearing a silk cap. So I'm either going to put that in like a unicorn heatless curl, or I'll just bun my hair up and put everything in a silk cap, so that way my hair is out of my face, because I do use quite a bit of products on my hair at night, and those products have silicones, and silicones on your face will end up clogging your pore, or they might not work for what my skin is needing. So because I don't want to mix those 2 things together, I make sure to put my hair in a silk cap so that my hair is completely out of my face. And on that same note, I also think it's really important to do your skincare first before you do your hair. So whenever I'm done washing my face for the night, I make sure that the first thing I do is everything for my skincare. So I make sure I finish all my skincare before I start working on my hair, so that I'm not touching my face again with all the hair products after I done my skincare. And my next life-changing product is this hair acne cream. You can get this off of Amazon, even though it's a lot more expensive from Amazon, but you can also get it from Salvana. And because I do order quite a bit of Asian beauty, I make sure I get this every single time so that I am always stocked up on this. And this has really been the game changer for me. When I first started using this, I didn't think that there was any difference, because I expected this to work like those acne treatments where it dries out your skin, and basically like apostrophe, where it just draws out the gunk and like just completely dries it out the next day. And this doesn't do that. Your skin still feels really good, hydrated, like just how your skin should feel, but because it's also really gentle like that, your deeper cystic pimples doesn't immediately disappear. However, by using this every single night, those pimples just slowly fade away, and I can't describe it. So I have one that almost became a cystic pimple right here, and I applied this cream on top of it for 4 nights, and by the end of 4 nights, it didn't even become like a full pimple where it came to surface. It just shrunk and just disappeared on its own, and it was really good. And if you sometimes wake up with like tiny little bumps or tiny little pimples, you can definitely put this on before you put on your makeup, and that will really help to treat that pimple as well. Or if you know that you tend to break out around your nose or your chin area, I would usually put this like around those area before I go to bed at night, so that it prevents any possible breakouts from happening. And also this product is like $5 to $6 on Salvana, so it's so worth it. Like it lasts you such a long time. I think I've had this tube for about half a year now, and I'm still not even through like half of it, so it's fantastic buy. And as for my morning routine, I keep it really simple. So if my skin doesn't feel too oily, I would just wash it with water. But if I wake up and I feel like it's a little too oily and moisturized for me, I will go in with a very gentle cleanser to wash it off before I do my skincare. And in the morning, I usually just go in with a toner or an essence, and then I go in with a really lightweight gel moisturizer, or I use the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Water Cream, and then I will go in with the SPF that I'm using right now, which is the Caudalie Mineral Sunscreen. It's amazing, and that's my skincare for the morning. So that was the physical changes or physical things that I did to help improve the quality of my skin. However, if I were to put a number to it, I would say those physical changes contribute about 30% to how my skin is, and the other 70% is really dietary and living changes. So a few things that I have implemented, and especially because with this pregnancy I also have gestational diabetes, I have noticed that when I eat too much sugar, my body just can't process it, and it makes so much sense because the high sugar in my bloodstream is going to affect my hormones, which then is going to affect my skin. So by reducing sugar, I have noticed a reduction in my breakouts. I have also taken note that whenever I eat dairy products, I tend to break out a lot, and it doesn't happen immediately. So it's not like if I eat it today, tomorrow I'll wake up with really bad pimples, but if I ate it maybe 2 or 3 days in a row, I would get really bad cystic pimples. So I have just completely cut out eating yogurt and eating cheese, even though I really like them a lot. And I wouldn't say completely cut out. I would still eat them, but I would make sure that if I ate cheese or yogurt this day, I don't eat any more dairy for the rest of the week. So I limit it to just having it one meal for once a week. And I find that has worked really well for me. I also make sure that I'm drinking at least a gallon of water a day. And this is partly for my pregnancy, but it's also a really good habit to have for healthy, hydrated skin. So I just have this half a gallon water bottle that I fill up 2 times a day. And then when I come home, I will fill my 40-ounce Stanley cup and have a pack of electrolyte in it. And I will make sure that cup is empty by the next day. So I will make sure that I will empty it before I fill it up again the next day. So I drink about a gallon and 40 ounces every single day. And then another thing that I have been doing, because not only am I having gestational diabetes, I'm also anemic. So I have decided to implement having blackstrap molasses in the morning. So for me, my little concoction includes a tablespoon of blackstrap molasses, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and also a little pinch of mineral salt. And this isn't like your table salt or your sea salt. This is really salt with minerals. So I use either the Celtic sea salt or the Baja Gold salt to replenish the minerals in my body. And also, quite honestly, this really helps with the taste of the apple cider and the molasses. So I mix them all together with some warm water and I drink that the first thing in the morning before I even consume anything else. And that has really helped me not only with my iron levels, but also blackstrap molasses has really good benefit for your skin. And then a few other things you might have heard already is that I change my makeup brushes once a week. I do have a lot of brushes, so it's easy for me to cycle through. So once I'm done with one set of brushes, I will wash them, and then as they're drying, I will use a different set. So that's how I try to keep my makeup brushes clean. I would also change my pillowcases once a week as well. So whenever I do laundry, I just toss my current pillowcase in the laundry, put a new one on, and I also make sure that I use either satin or silk pillowcase because it's really much nicer on your skin and is also antimicrobial. So a few other things that I've also started doing when I'm at work is that I would use this Tower 28 spray and I would spray my face to just kill any kind of bacteria that's on there, and then I will go in with a Caudalie face spray, and I feel like this has helped to make my skin feel moisturized and hydrated without messing with the makeup on my face. And I also noticed that since I started implementing this, my skin has improved, because before I started doing this, I would get like a new little pimple by the end of the workday because I do work for 10 hours. So it was normal for me to have that pimple, but now that I've started, I don't have pimples in the middle of the day, which is amazing. And with all these changes, my cystic acne has improved so much. My skin has never been this healthy since I've hit puberty at 12 years old, and I'm genuinely so excited to continue learning about what works for me. It's been a really long road, but I am so happy to have found a more natural way to heal my skin without having to resort to medications and really strong treatments. And I've also learned that healing your skin isn't just about the products you use, it's about understanding your body, your habits, and finding out what works for you. So I really hope that my journey helps you to feel less alone and gives you some idea to try out. And if you're on your own skin healing journey, I would love to hear your story and your favorite tips in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell button for more content on skincare, self-care, and living your best life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!